Hello there, welcome to this week's video. Now last week I went over the concept idea of this Scratchception, you could say. However, this time I'd like to make a quick update on that. So this is of course the old version, and how it works is you first start the program with the flag up here, and you can click and you can drag this around, and then you have a couple little blocks here and there. You can set them up to essentially just move a couple steps. So you run it, it moves a couple. Let's run it a few more times so maybe we can see it. Because it seems to... Where is it? There it is. Why are you not... Huh. Well, seems that's gotten even worse. Okay, well, that's not good. No, it doesn't matter too much, but I'll take a look anyway. So done running. When's the ball receiving? Oh, that's why. I forgot. So let's go ahead and restart. I forgot I ended up doing that stupid idea. Let's put one here. And let's say make a forever loop. Let's start it. And as you can see, it clearly does not work very well. The ball seems to have trouble working. Now let's try the space. Boom. And same, well, not the same issue with this. Technically it did do its job, but it seems to be very broken. At least the loop feature kind of works. However, this is not the current version. I made a copy and I've been working on that one. And as you can see, it's not very different. However, it does have some changes. First of all, these. You can now swap in between two pages. There are currently now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In reality, 6 blocks of code, but 7 because I can't exactly code for a forever loop to have this little bar in between. Because if I were to do that, it would take not only an enormous amount of code, it would just utterly not work. Just in general. I may attempt that very late in development, but currently I have no need for it. Now, what are some of the new features? Well, as before mentioned, these buttons. You can now swap in between pages. I admit this is a bit exposed, but I'll be working on that later on. We also now have a wait block. Currently it's just default 1 second, but now, when you run your code, you can have it set up so that when you start the... Wait a minute, what? What? This is a problem I attempted to fix right before making this video. I'm gonna see if I can just straight up ignore it. One moment. I swear, this thing has been very annoying. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, this did not... What? Wait, is it in here that does that? No. Did I not say... No, I did not. Ooh. Ooh, that's not good. Well, I can probably still fix that real quick. Let's see here. Let's get the location of this. And let's mark 221, negative 153, 22. Oh, come on. Really? Really? Reload it. Alright, fine. Boot up Google real quick. click on Google a bunch of times, close that, close this, 221, negative 153. Yes, okay. God, that it should not be, that glitch should not be so apparent in the game. Well, not game itself, but in this coding world, it should not be that aggravating, you know? So now let's go ahead and let's do this for each one. Now, what exactly am I doing? Well, I found out there's a bug in my program, and it tends to revolve around the spawning of the runner block. The issue is that deleted, or in this case the hidden ones, are still spawning them in. And that's due to some conditions I have, because I'm saying if you're touching sprite 3, or if you are touching one of these little spots here, do not make one of the runners. You can't do that if it's a hidden block, though. So instead, I've been trying to use coordinates, which is what I'm doing right now. However, originally, I had this set up. I had this working, but it didn't work, apparently, I guess. I guess it didn't work by what I'm doing right now. Anyway, that should be most of it. Now, one other thing I need to do is fix this. So first of all, I'm going to make a copy of this, and we're going to just say 221 and negative 153. And now we're going to say if you are not, if you are at position 221, y negative 123, if it is this position, 201 or 158, which is the position here, or if you're touching that, then run. However, I don't want to do that, so I put in a not gate, which means if any of these are true, do not run it. Put that in there, and hopefully we can test this out now. So if I run this, good. If I delete it, good. Alright, let's test this again. Put put down some weight blocks, which is the new block I put in. Well, technically not new since it's been Scratch, but still fun. And then we have these move 10 steps, and voila. It waits a second for each, and then moves 20 steps. And as you also saw there, it actually deleted itself this time. Now, if you watched the last video, you noticed that I had a hard time trying to figure out how to do it because I was working with touching the background. Well, I figured that out, and it's every time I add an if statement to the done running code, which from now on, every time it checks, it's going to see if it's not touching any of these sprites, any of the sprites that are in either of these pages, and if it's touching none of them, it'll delete it, which has worked very effectively so far. In the future, it may not, depending on how the sprite's size will work, but currently it works just fine. Now let's go ahead and figure out the next thing I was going to explain. Oh yeah. So another thing I add in. Now, you probably didn't notice this before in the original video, but all of my runners tended to run at the same speed. So for example, when I'd have like all of these blocks together, they would all move in unison, and they would cause some significant errors. For example, instead of running, let's say I had a code segment here that did this, and I were to run this, it would not move all 40 steps. Instead, it would move 10, 20, 30. It would move 30 steps because the way I code the runner in originally was I sent messages, which I admit I relied on way too much, as they are somewhat unreliable if you're working with more than one object. Anyhow, I managed to fix that by having it utilize just a touch system. You touch a sprite, perform a certain action, then do the done running, which is this now, instead of a custom broadcast. See? Like move 10 or end program, it's just gone now. We have the start here, we have the end here, which has a little custom little light here, which is just like this one. Every time you stop it, it's darker. I'm not sure if I explained that last time, but it's just to replicate the actual one. Every time you do it, it'll send out a message, and comparatively to the other one, this one does not have any flaws related to it, besides delay time possibly. Another thing I fixed is that now the forever loops will run without issue. At least so far, every test I've done has resulted in it working just fine. Now, you may say, oh, but Jacob, it's stuck in the middle. Well, that's because I removed a delay tick. Originally, this one, this Sprite 7, which is the top forever block, I put a 0.1 second delay, so you'd actually see it stop on it, and then move down, but I found it to just be unnecessary, and also, it did not help out with the code, as if you're in the future trying to make something overly complicated, that requires precision, or you want something that looks like it's running smooth, you do not want it to constantly be touching the forever block, waiting 0.1 seconds, and then moving 10 steps, or doing whatever you want to do. So, instead, let's make an example here, just to show off that it does work, and I'm not just being a phony here. Move 10 steps, it's going to wait a second, we're going to utilize that block, and then we're going to have the end loop here. And now, it waits a second, moves 10 steps, and as you can see, it still doesn't show up there, but you can still tell that it is doing this. Now, you may also ask, how did you get that to work? Well, that took a bit of extra work, but I did manage to figure it out. I created a new variable called loop resetter. Now, loop resetter is a special sprite, which actually counts the space in between each one, and each, well, I need to explain this better. So what this does is, it's for every clone of the sprite and every instance, but every time this done running algorithm is run, if it's touching this sprite here, which is the top runner, it's going to go ahead and reset loop resetter. But anyway, if not, it's going to change it by 20 and move down 20, which goes down to the next block. And then this here. But then I now have another sector which checks to see if it's touching sprite 8. And if it's touching sprite 8, it's going to perform repeat forever. Repeat forever is going to change Y by loop resetter and reset loop resetter. Which I admit is kinda stupid, but maybe in the future there is a use for this if statement. Or maybe it already is doing that. I can't exactly tell because it doesn't light up when it runs. Anyway, let's move on to the last thing we're going to go over after we remove this loop resetter. So the last one is one of the ones I'm somewhat impressed about. I ended up coding this in about an hour, and it took quite a bit, but this is a go-to position. Now, originally my idea was use messages, go ahead and do all that, but that doesn't work, mainly because there's just too much it would have to do. So, first off, it's going to ask you to put in an X. So I'm going to say, go to 300X. Now put in a Y, I'm going to say 50Y. So now, I admit, it does not put the numbers up here, and I sincerely doubt I'll ever code the work for that, because if I really did, it would just be way too much effort. Oh, that fell. It would not only be way too much effort, I have no idea how I do that. Besides doing it hard coding and saying, okay, let's go ahead and code per se 9,999 times 9,999 squared. amount of costumes in order to get every single value on that. And as you know, that's a bit too high for me to go ahead and manually do, nor would I want a robot to agonizingly go through each one. But anyway, now this one is currently set to, I think, 300 and Y being 50. So let's have the starter. Let's make a forever loop. Maybe. Let's get a few of these down. Let's tell it to move 20 steps. Then let's say wait a moment. Tell it to move another 20. Wait another moment. And then I'm going to tell it to go to this position, not the one listed here, but go to the position I gave it. Then we're going to just do a forever loop. Boom. And now we run it, move 20 steps, wait a second, move another 10, wait another. Did I set that right? Hold up, wait. I admit it's running forever, so it did do its job. I'm wondering if I set that right. Input an X, maybe, okay, 200, and then 50. So this one's set to 250. Move 20, wait a second, move 10, wait a second. There we go. So now you could see it that time. So it went to that position. Now you may ask, Jacob, how did you do that? Well, it took me a while to figure that out, and that's mainly because of, as I mentioned before, I was way too reliant on these program bits. What I ended up doing is I created a unique list for this sprite called location. Ow. And what I did is I said ball go to location. And I also made a secondary list called ball go to location. Now, as before mentioned, this sprite has a custom list for each clone in the original. And every time I go ahead and I say, alright, I want one of these, it's going to ask for the X, and I put in whatever number I want, and voila. See, now they're entered in, and now I'm going to make a quick thing of code here. Tell it to wait a second. Oop, my bad. Still works. I'm going to tell it to wait a second, and then what ends up happening is once this thing detects that the runner has touched it, it's going to add the X and Y position to this public link, which is public list, which is similar to a return method in Java. When you tend to use inheritance, I'm sorry if I'm getting way too complicated and that if you currently don't understand Java, but essentially this would be the form of saying return this or set this, which would set X value to Y value. But anyway, without further ado, let's run it. Waits a second and then sets it to that position. Now in this, I add in another chunk of code, which is a forever loop, and it checks to see if the length of ball go to location, which is the public one, is greater than 1. If so, it will go ahead and go to the position and then delete it. Now, just to show that I'm not crazy and that it actually does fill up ball go to location, I put a delay. Now, as you could tell, that definitely was not what it was supposed to do. However, due to the fact that this thing is not going to be having a wait second block in there, it should never have that sort of nightmarish issue. Yeah, okay, let's reset that. One of you and one of you with 50 and 60. And just place that there. Run it. It'll go to the location without issue. Yeah, I do admit, now that I look at it, it may be a bit more fidgety when it comes to running, per se, 2 of these at once. In fact, I'd like to try that out. Let's say 60 and 500 in height. Oh, let's just do another 50. Okay, you know what? Let's reset that. That was not a good idea to set things like that. So let's do one that's gonna be 100, 0. We're gonna set that to here, and let's make another one that's set to 500 and 0. Now they're gonna run at the same time. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it appears that this does not like that. Now maybe it's because they were touching. Let's check. No, it really had an issue there. Remove you. Let's see if you are just a glitch or something. Is it supposed to pause? Do I still have the pause in there? No, I do not. Maybe we should reset. I'm not sure if this block is completely set up, because it does seem to be a bit fidgety. Yeah, see, it goes there just fine. Now let's run it one more time. So 90, 90, go to here, put you here, shut off, run again. Yeah, it does not like that. I admit, it could definitely make for some interesting illusions. Well, less illusions, more effects. However, I don't think it's necessary to do this. Wait. I'd like to get to stop in the middle of it. Oh, dang it. Alright, let's just test this one more time. I'm sorry if I'm boring you, but I want to be able to, you know, run this thing and be able to see if I can come up with a simple solution to this issue. So let's run it again. Stop it. 50, 50, 99, 50, 50, 99. Okay, so it's better than I thought, and in the sense of better, I mean like it did not go 50, 90, 50, 90, 50, 90, which is very good because it means I don't have to put too much of a delay. It's just because of how it is receiving it. It's very simple to fix that. I'm highly sure I can fix this right away. All I need to do is go into U and add a NOT gate. And now, originally I did have it like that, but when I was originally testing the block, it was having issues, so I did remove this. But I'm pretty sure now, if I were to restart, make 2 of these, put one out here, one out there, do the first one with 50, 50, and then put it here, and then, yeah, you can tell that works. Now do another one, and do 90, and 90, put that one here, now run it. That worked. That definitely worked. I'm not sure if there was precedence. Yeah, there was precedence. The one right before it. I'm not sure if there's supposed to be a pause. Maybe it's just me. But anyhow, I thank you for watching this update. I hope you've had a good week. If not, I hope your next week is better than the current one. Yeah, it's definitely a pause. I'll fix that. And I wish to see you all soon. Well, not intentionally, but I hope you guys have a good day, and hope everyone's alright. Have a good day. Goodbye.